Yo, what's going on guys? It's Bama, and we're back with another video, and today I'm going to be discussing my top 10 JRPGs of all time. Now, keep in mind this is opinion based, this is not factual, and this is just my personal top 10, and there will be no major spoilers heading into this, and keep in mind none of these games are in order. So before you dislike me or anything like that, I'm not saying this game is better than this game. None of these are in order. Just know that all of these are in my top 10. So to start off with, an amazing 10 out of 10 game to me is Kingdom Hearts 2, because Kingdom Hearts 2 changed, JRPGs forever with how amazing the game was and how great the game did, as well as sales and everything like that. And if you played Kingdom Hearts 1, you were super attached to Sora, Goofy, and Donald, Mickey and everything like that, because the story leads to this, insane cliffhanger that they left you on Kingdom Hearts 1 with Riku, because you're trying to save Riku, kind of like Naruto and Sasuke. And obviously Sora being Sora, he always finds a way at the end of the day, and I'm not going to get super into detail into that, but Kingdom Hearts 2 had some of the greatest soundtracks to me. It just felt like such an amazing game. All these worlds that you visit, a lot of these Disney movie places that you get to go to, because if you like Disney, you are going to enjoy Kingdom Hearts, because this game was such an amazing experience, and the exploring and the combat system and everything like that is amazing. And Square Enix is always doing Square Enix, making great games. And so for the next game, NieR Automata, and this game isn't just in my top 10 JRPGs like Kingdom Hearts 2. This game is in my top 10 games of all time. Now, NieR Automata, this game just felt so real and alive to me, because you're in this world that is being taken over by robots, and I know I said it feels alive and everything like that, obviously not, but you're in this world that is taken over by robots, and I don't know what it was, but something about this world that I'm exploring just felt so nostalgic to me, and slowly over time became one of my favorite games of all time, because the combat system is amazing, the story is amazing, the characters are awesome and amazing. There's just so much going on into this game, and obviously you were this girl called 2B, and basically 2B is accompanied by her friend 9S, and they are basically uncovering the secrets of these robots in the world and trying to stop these two people called Adam and Eve. So that's all I'm really going to get into detail about NieR Automata. Just know you should play this game, because this is another 10 out of 10 game for me. And now the next game, because Square Enix also made NieR Automata, let's go ahead and talk about Final Fantasy VII, because this game did just get a remake not long ago, and they're actually coming out with another remake for PS5 and next gen consoles like they did for PlayStation 4. And Final Fantasy VII is just this amazing game, because you're playing as this badass character called Cloud Strife, and Cloud is basically a mercenary who joins a ego-terrorist organization to stop a world-controlling mega corporation from using the planet's life as an energy source. And obviously you're in pursuit of someone. If you played Kingdom Hearts or Smash Bros, you're trying to stop this guy called Sephiroth, who's trying to become a god and everything like that. So throughout this game, just know that the gameplay is amazing, the plot is amazing, all the characters are amazing. This was one of the greatest, if not arguably the greatest JRPG game of all time, and if you haven't played it yet, go play this game. And now, getting away from Square Enix, let's go ahead and talk about arguably, to me, a very underrated JRPG game, which is, Tokyo Xanadu EX. Now, I know a lot of you have probably never played Tokyo Xanadu EX, and for those that have, you probably didn't think this game was that amazing, but for some reason, to me, I love the cast, I love this whole concept that you're trying to, explore this eclipse and stop it, and obviously the main character is amazing, the cast is amazing. I love the exploring in the game, because that's something that always gets me in these games, is the exploring and the designs of the world and all the activities that you can do, and there's just a lot of stuff you could do in here. The only thing that I would say for this game that was not that insane is definitely the combat system, because this is the same people that made Trails, Cold Steel, and everything like that. So honestly, they could have done better on the combat system, but nonetheless, I love exploring all these dungeon areas, and the characters and the cast and the plot were just so amazing to me, as well as the music, and the opening is fire. So if you haven't played this game, I'm not going to say you must play it, but definitely give it a shot if you were bored with a lot of JRPG games at the moment. And now on to the next game, Tales of Berseria. Now the thing about Tales of Berseria, this game is a revenge game, and for me, I love revenge games. So if you don't know what it's about or anything like that, because I'm sure a lot of you have played this as well, because the Tales series is amazing, and I believe there is a new Tales game coming out in like the next few weeks. I can't remember what it's called, but just know that the Tales series is amazing. They always do an amazing job. But basically with this game, it is a revenge filled game, and you are playing as this character. or this woman I should say, called Velvet Crow, and basically, like I said, she's trying to seek revenge on the person that basically ruined her entire life forever after what he did to her. And you're accompanied by all these people. The storyline is amazing. I'm not gonna get super into detail about this game as well, but you're basically trying to seek revenge on him and this guy in this group that caused you so much harm and is doing all this bad stuff to the world and the planet. And the next game on our list is Dragon Quest 11 or Dragon Quest XI. To me, this game was so amazing because I love the exploring aspect on the game. It felt like you were literally in the wild in here because you see all these creatures, these animals, these monsters that you're fighting, trying to get alongside this journey. And once you're in this game, basically have these people all telling you that you are the chosen one, you are the one to save the world and everything like that. And obviously you're accompanied by all these people, and your best friend in the game, which is also the same voice actor as Levi from Attack on Titan and Akashi from Kuroko no Basket. If you are playing, the Japanese version, which is the subtitle version, and obviously the subtitle version be with Japanese audio, but you get the point. You're accompanied by him, and basically as the main character, since you're the chosen one, there are obviously a lot of people that are opposing you. So throughout this game, you're trying to fulfill your destiny and obviously reach the ultimate end goal in this game. And the next game on our list is going to be Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, which to no surprise is a very popular JRPG game. I'm sure a lot of you have played it, and if you haven't played it, a lot of you have probably heard of it because Atlas makes this game, which also makes the Persona series, which is a very popular series. But besides that, why would you want to play Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne? Well, I'm gonna tell you why. You are basically a god. I'm not joking, you're a god. You're basically in this world that just received a rebirth, and obviously throughout this game, once you're a god, with this whole world undergoing this rebirth, you're fighting all of these demons. And who doesn't want to be a god fighting demons? Like, come on, that sounds badass. And while you're doing that, obviously you're going to meet people along the way like in every other game. And without getting into super in detail, this is one of the greatest JRPG games to me, and also one of the hardest, if not the hardest JRPG game ever. And if you played the game, you gotta throw a legendary reference out there. I challenge you to a duel. If you know, you know. And now, heading almost towards the end of our list, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Trails of Cold Steel. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2. Although I did play 1 and 3 and 4 and everything like that, but to me, Trails of Cold Steel 2 stood out because you're basically, like I said with Berseria, this is a revenge game kind of in the beginning, which I love that tension. I love revenge games. Like, that's just something that's always been super sick and badass to me. But basically with this revenge game, without getting super into detail into it, starting from the first one, you're basically this kid that is, in this military academy school, and basically you meet all your friends that are also in the same class as you, but they're not your friends at first, obviously, but you're all in this military academy. And although after you graduate, you don't have to stay in there, but you and all your friends are so determined in helping the world and do the better for good that you stay with the military. And you're actually helping them try to fight off all the evil groups and organizations that are trying to stop the world. And one thing that caught my eye about this game was the cast, because honestly, this cast in this game might be my favorite JRPG cast ever. Although there's another cast later in the video I will be discussing, but this cast in here was amazing. The voice acting was amazing. I love the soundtracks in this game. I'm just such like a big fan of OSTs and soundtracks of games that sound amazing. And you're traveling to all these different cities and stuff, and it is a turn-based JRPG, and you are fighting these people that are trying to oppose the military, and even some of them that are in the military that may have betrayed you. So if you want to learn more about that, go ahead and play Cold Steel because you will not be disappointed. And now for, almost towards the end of the list, arguably the greatest JRPG of all time, Final Fantasy X, which is another Square Enix game because, like I said, they do so many amazing games. I'm sorry I couldn't help myself. Now, Final Fantasy X is a very interesting game. Like I said, arguably the greatest JRPG game ever. You're basically in this world called Spira, which once you're in this game, you are in this world Spira, like I said, and you are this main character called Titus, who's also a star athlete in the fictional sport which is known as Blitzball. And he also finds himself in Spira after Shin destroyed his home. And after all of that, you will meet this guy that you join along the journey, and you're basically trying to stop Shin. That is the ultimate goal in this game, and you're gonna have such an emotional roller coaster experience with this game because there's so much going on. There's so many like insane things that are just gonna mind blow you with this game. And to me, I love the graphics, and obviously it is a classic game, an OG game, but something about these OG games just brings that amazing nostalgic feeling to me, which is their ultimate purpose at the end of the day. played, and to me this game was just so beautiful, so well made. And there's not many games where as soon as I hear the opening music it just gives me goosebumps because of how beautiful and amazing this game was. So if you haven't played Final Fantasy X, I highly recommend you play it because this was such a revolutionizing game for JRPGs, and I believe so this was the first Final Fantasy game to have voice acting. So now for the last two games on this list, I personally left these last two back to back for each other, and I'm gonna go ahead and explain why later on, but let's go ahead and start with Persona 4 Golden. Now remember how I said earlier how Cold Steel has arguably one of my favorite casts ever? Well, so does Persona 4 Golden. This game just had me going through such a crazy experience. It's just so mysterious because you were this kid that transferred to this new town, and throughout this new town you were actually living with a guy called Dojima, who is a detective. And I know that sounds sick, but he is a detective, and obviously he has a daughter, and her name is actually Nanako. With this game, like I said, you move to this new town, you're living with a detective. And why is that relevant? Well, there's actually all these murders going on in this small town that you're in, and you're trying to uncover those murders along with this fog that always appears in the city right before a murder. Now obviously I'm not going to get super into detail, I'm not going to spoil anything like that, but just know with this game you are uncovering murders and everything like that. And the cast is just such an amazing, funny cast. Like, it felt like all the voice acting and the voice actors themselves were all connected with each other very well. This game was very well put, and obviously Persona always has amazing soundtracks, arguably the greatest soundtracks of any game that's probably ever released. I love this game, and like I said, the cast was hilarious. So if you haven't played this game, feel free to give it a shot, and if you don't want to play it, go ahead and watch the anime because the Persona 4 anime was actually great. Yes, we have finally made it to the end, and this game, I saved it for last on purpose. This is arguably my favorite video game ever, and without a doubt my favorite JRPG game ever, Persona 5 Royal. This game honestly changed my life just because of how much I played it. It was like one of the first JRPG games that truly changed like how I felt about single player games, because now that's like the main thing I play. Before then I didn't even really play single player games like that. So why is this game so amazing? Well, I brought up earlier, Persona always has some amazing soundtracks, and the thing about this game, like Persona 4, you were this transfer student that just moved to a new town, and they're labeling you as a criminal while you're also living your everyday life at school, and obviously everybody's trying to turn against you. But throughout this story you meet these amazing people that end up being your best friends, and they actually help join along you to stop like this whole corruption that's going on in the world. And obviously there's this other world called the metaverse that you've discovered, and I'm not going to get super into detail about it, but I am holding back and giving out a few spoilers, not major spoilers for this game, because I'm sure a lot of you have played it. But if you haven't, just know that in this game the action is amazing, the plot is amazing, and you know, you're accompanied by beautiful soundtracks. The designs are just breathtaking, and everything that's going on is just mind-blowing because you're traveling to all these different palaces in the game trying to stop these corrupted people, and there's so many plot twists and turns that, you know, end up in this game that will just flip your mind sideways because you don't know what's about to happen next. Although we assume this was happening, but then this other thing happens, and it just coincides together, and it's just bashing your head in and out because you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you're just having such a crazy experience. You don't even know how to put it into words. So to me, without a doubt, a 10 out of 10 game. I think that we'll be doing it for the video today, guys. Let me know if I left a few games out that should have made the honorable mentions list and maybe my top 10, because chances are I haven't played them yet, and I do want to, you know, get into some more JRPG games. So, you know, with that being said, hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video, and I hope that, you know, you had a great experience watching this video, and maybe I put you onto a few games as well. So that's gonna do it for the video today, guys. Once again, let me know down below some games I should try out, and until next time, peace.